I'm working on my Bobcat 753. A while ago I noticed it started hesitating and it wasn't as fast on the right drive on the right side. It was jerky and you couldn't really feather it. And like if you're trying to drive at full speed, it would obviously turn that direction because it was going slower and it didn't have as much power. And I don't know, probably the drive motor, but with these things I guess you can never really tell whether it's the pump or the drive motor. So I pulled this. This is the right side drive motor. I pulled that off a bit ago. I had the tires off earlier, obviously. And this is the hydraulic hose is hooked to these. I don't know if these are factory or not because the other side is different. These are a real pain in the butt to get out because there isn't really enough room in that hole to loosen this so that they can swivel, and then they couldn't swivel because they were hitting one another. That was a pain. And then on this side, I haven't cracked anything loose yet. This looks more like factory lines here. And this, I feel like, will be a lot easier. Just get a wrench in here and take those two off. And then I'm just going to put the motor from the other side, swap them side for side, and hopefully the problem just moves. And then I will order a new motor, which is not going to be cheap because apparently this is the old style motor. I forget the measurements. Whatever. But anyways, there's no bolts in here. So that's how you can tell this is the older motor that I couldn't find anywhere to get it rebuilt. So I have to replace it. And it's going to be like $1,400 to replace it. So we'll see how it turns out. So yeah, those two hoses came off just, easy as pie. Because, there's room right there. And I forgot to mention on the other side, the way I ended up getting them off on the other side with those weird swivels is I had to go up on the inside and take one hose off. Take one hose off at the pump side and get it out of the way because, there is no wiggle room in these. They are the exact length they need to be. So once I got it out of the way, then I could finally get the other one off, kind of. But these two just boom, both twisted right off. And if you're doing this, all the fluid's already been drained out from the other side. I did that a few days ago. So if you're doing this, you got to either prepare to drain all your fluid out of your reservoir, or you're gonna have to be ready, like I wasn't, and have that's your case drain. You're gonna have to have some way to plug that because it'll just sit and drain your reservoir, the whole thing. And I couldn't plug it. I didn't have whatever fitting that is to try and put some sort of plug on it. So there's $100 worth of Bobcat brand hydraulic fluid in these 3 pans down here because it just sat and drained all out. But I'm gonna replace the case drain filters and stuff anyways, and it looks like the one that's on that return tank, you can't you basically have to drain the tank anyways to get that one off because there's no valve there or anything. So not the end of the world, but just letting you know. Okay, so this is the drive motor that I think is bad, or the one that's acting up. This is the right side drive motor. These are the fittings off of that I took off the left side, obviously off of this motor. These are the ones that are easier to deal with. The hose has the 90 built into the hose, so it just makes it a lot easier than dealing with these. The hose comes in straight, and you have to line up these 90s and then tighten this nut down. So taking these apart and looking in there, I don't see any metal fragments inside either motor, but I took the case drain filter off of the left side. It had a case drain filter down this hose a ways on the left side, and there wasn't one on the right side. It just goes straight back into the valve assembly. So this is the left side case drain filter, and it has some bad news on it. So I'm going to get a new filter coming for that one. And right now I'm gonna take this other case drain filter, which this is the one I was talking about. This is the, hydraulic reservoir there. That's it. And then this is a case drain filter. Before any fluid goes back up into it, it has to go through this filter, so I'll see what's in that one. It is a little weird to me that there wasn't a case drain for the right side pump, but we'll see. So kind of the same deal here. It's got some metal fragments, and also I don't know what this brown kind of rubbery, I'm wondering if maybe that's seal material. The seals inside the pump maybe, or I mean it's back together. The problem drive motor is now on the left side, and the problem moved to this side, so I'm pretty sure it's that drive motor and not the pumps. So I'm pretty sure it's going to cost me over $1,400 for a new drive motor, and I swapped them side for side like this because I wasn't positive it was the drive motors. I watched some of Andrew Catamara, or excuse me for butchering his name, on YouTube. I watched some of his videos, and his drive motor issues never seem exactly like mine. He loses power in one direction, or I don't know, they just didn't seem quite the same as mine. My jerkiness and lack of power in both directions. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So if you guys are gonna do this, some things I didn't know, that, the flange in there with just the 4 bolts, there is like an O-ring on there where it holds into the chain case, and that's pretty tight. You're gonna need a couple of big pry bars to pry that. You just gotta work it back and forth to pry that motor out of there, because once you take those 4 bolts out, it is still solid. Also, I would get one of these 1 3/8 crow's foot, because that side I was showing you, that you can get that pretty easily with a couple crescent wrenches. But this side, there is no, oh no, it sucks. There's no way to get at that with a crescent wrench. This top one, you have to put the crow's foot in inside and come at it from the back side with an extension on a ratchet for that one. So you'll want to pick up one of those. Yeah, and also my garage is only like 9-foot ceiling, so you can't even come close to getting that cab high enough if you're trying to work on it in here. I ended up just taking the cab off. It's not, other than the weight of the cab, it's not very difficult, just those 2 bolts at the back. Those 2 bolts, and then there's 3 plugs right there, 3 electrical plugs, and that's it. And obviously your front 2 where you would tip it up, but that whole thing just lifts right off. So that was pretty easy. And I guess we'll see. I'll update this if I get a new drive motor and that fixes it.